Good morning. It's Monday. Gone for a red effect today. Brilliant. I think that looks great. Let's get the Facebook people in. They get to join second, but only momentarily after the other people, because I have to wait till the feed gets to Facebook. So there you go. I hope you're well. I hope you're good. Missed your Friday. And it's interesting that we're doing, or I'm going to talk today about how do I work efficiently. How do I work efficiently? And one of the ways to work efficiently would have been good if I'd seen you on Friday. Would have been to tell you that one of the ways to work efficiently is to plan your week on a Friday. And as you will know, if you've heard me before, this Friday is the most important day of next week. So last Friday is the most important day of this week, because what you do and what you plan on that Friday means that you can get at work efficiently. Now, here's the thing. It's not about working fast. It's not about top speed performance, because I think there's a problem with fast, in that fast makes us feel busy, I think, but fast also creates mistakes and errors. So I think that's problematic. So when I talk about stuff, I talk about speed sometimes. And it's like when you're driving a car, there's a danger in going fast. Because if you go too fast, you're not able to spot and predict problems up ahead and deal with them before you kind of get to them. If you're going too fast, you don't see the parked car, or you don't see the traffic lights, and then you kind of have to intervene rapidly and come to a standstill often with these kind of things, don't you? Instead of, if you could just go at a steady state, you see the red light up ahead and you just drive kind of relatively kind of at an even pace, and then you get there just as the lights change. That'd be perfect, wouldn't it? That'd be perfect. And if we could do that in our working lives, that'd be even better. But also, if you go too slow, it's problematic, because you then got people behind you, and you're not getting something done. You're not getting to the end of a job because you've gone too slowly. So we're trying to achieve some sort of kind of steady state in the way we work to be efficient. We're just ticking over all the time, working on stuff to the exclusion of everything else. And that's the first thing. So I've got loads of tips for you this morning, and I've got a great one right at the end. So get a pen and write these things down. Do you know why that's important? Because if we write things down, they are cemented into our brains. So go on, get a pen and a little post-it note or something, and write these things down, because they're really important. There's something about the written word. So the first thing is, the first way to be efficient is to single task. It's to do one thing at a time to the exclusion of all other things. Now, I'm not talking here about little things that you do at the start of the day, where you maybe make a phone call, then you check an email, and then you check another email, and you make another phone call, and then you have a quick chat with a colleague. Those kind of things. You tweak something in your diary. I refer to those as many-tasking, because I don't like the word multitasking. And there's lots of literature about the fact that multitasking doesn't work as a way of working when we have deep work tasks to do. So yes, I know when we've got little things to do, we do switch between them, and it feels like we're multitasking, but actually we're not. We're not multitasking. No, we're just switching between tasks rapidly, because our brains can't hold more than one attentional target in mind at the same time. So we can have one attentional target at once. Now, if that's just little things, then that's all right. You can get away with dotting between little things, And I know we do also drive the car while listening to the radio or chatting to a friend. We do those kind of things. But when it comes to deep work, when it comes to something that needs all of your attention, focus, we need to pay attention, set our intention, and then pay attention. So multitasking doesn't work. And there have been some nice bits of research on this. And one of them, Vanderbilt University, I think it was, off the top of my head, found that doing two tasks at the same time, cognitive tasks, took 30% longer than if people had just done them separately. And they found, I think it was twice as many mistakes in the finished tasks. So not only have you got 30%, it took you 30% longer by trying to do two things at once, but you had to then go back and fix the mistakes. And I may have spoken about this before. I'm kind of collecting some ideas together here around efficiency. Microsoft had some people do some research for them about emails, and they found that when interrupted by an email, their programmers took about 15, 20 minutes to get back on track with the task that they were doing. And what they found was that even when they didn't go and read the email, just knowing the email was there caused an equal attentional problem. So we have to single task. I call these we call this in the productivity world deep work, and I tend to refer to this as getting into our deep work tunnels. We need to get into the tunnel, go into the entrance of the tunnel, and as you know, when you get into a tunnel, the only way to go is through the tunnel and out the other side. That's what we need to do. We need to get into our deep work tunnels. What this requires is knowing that when we're in that deep work tunnel, everything else is kind of sorted. Everything else is fine. So we get all of our little tasks out the way. It's like my dog. Go out with my dog. She runs to the end of the path. She horizon scans and makes sure that the whole world is safe. There are no other dogs. There are no other people. Nothing for her to trouble her or worry her. Then she gets down to having a sniff about and a run about and a bit of play and stuff. And then when she gets a bit further down the track, she stops again, horizon scans and has a look about. This is what we should do. We need to start the day horizon scanning. What's my day look like? What do the emails look like? We need to start the day with all of that kind of stuff. Let's get that out the way. Not necessarily done, but kind of tidied up. So we know what's in there. We know that we can safely leave it. And we know we can kind of move on to a deep work task. Then we get into our deep work tunnel. We don't think about any of that. Then when we come out the other side of our deep work tunnel, we go, right, let's have a look at all that again. Let's have a look at the diary. Let's have a look at the emails. Let's have a look at the voicemails if we still get such things. Let's have a look at Teams. Let's have a look at that. Let's horizon scan again. Right, what am I doing next? Deep work tunnel, bang. So multitasking is a really inefficient way of doing deep work. Single tasking is the way. And the other thing we can do, this is a bit harder, is we can chunk similar tasks together. So if you've got tasks that require the same attentional set from you, so let's say you have lots of things to read, or you have lots of things to write, or you have lots of meetings to go to, so talking things, and my job essentially breaks down into that. Reading things, writing things, or creating things, creating lectures and articles and notes and that kind of thing. So reading things, writing things, or talking about things. If we can, and this is a tough one, if we can group all of those things together, so we group all our reading tasks together, we group all our writing tasks together, we group all our talking tasks together, and your key factors in your job might be different. Once we get into that attentional set, we pick up speed, if you like, so we become more efficient at that task. So what that means is that we move more effortlessly through the things we are doing between those tasks. So, you're reading something, then you have to read another thing. Well, you move effortlessly between that because your mind's ready for the reading. And reading is probably the best example I can give you. I know that if I start reading, I'm quite a slow reader, but the longer I read for, the faster my reading speed becomes. I think lots of people experience that. So multitasking, don't do it. Single task, deep work tunnels, deep work, that kind of thing. Chunk your tasks together if you can. And then one of the main things that I talk to people about, and I'm sure I mentioned this last week as well, is this idea of slippage. You need to create slippage in your end dates. So, give yourself, if the end date is the 27th, then make your end date psychologically the 20th. So you've got some slippage. If you think this job's going to take you an hour and a half, give yourself an hour and 3/4 or 2 hours, create some slippage. Now, the reason this works, and it's hard to find this slippage space when you first start to do this, but it becomes easier as you do it more. As we find this slippage space, what this means is the key thing about starting a task is to finish it. I mean, isn't it? That's obvious, but I think we miss that sometimes. The key thing about starting a task is to finish it. And we have this problem in our heads. It's almost a hope. It's almost a drive. We hope that we'll do it effectively in as short a time as possible when we've got a task, and that doesn't happen, does it? That often doesn't happen. Often it takes a bit longer. Now, if you've built slippage in and it doesn't take as long as that, then great, you've got some time back. But the crucial thing is that when you start a task, you finish it. Now, we've got a problem there, haven't we? Because sometimes tasks are massive and you don't do them in one one sitting, so we break them down into smaller tasks. So we finish that discrete part of the process. So we leave it in a neat and tidy place, because things left in neat and tidy places are easy to pick up later. If you leave something half finished, half baked, you're constantly thinking, I must remember where I'm up to with that task. Whereas if you've got a list of the tasks you need to do to get to the outcome, you just think, right, well, I did that, I'm on the next task. So it's this thing that I've often mentioned, which is run through the line. And this is when you're watching the 100-meter runners or 200-meter runners or whatever, or any runner on the track. They don't run to within about 10 meters of the line and start to slow down. They run through the line and then they slow down. And that's what we need to do with our tasks. We need to run through the line before we start to slow down. So there you go. Those are the things. Don't multitask. Many task, by all means. Get lots of little things out the way first, so they're out the way at the start of the day. Then get into your single task and deep work tunnels to the exclusion of everything else, so you can focus and concentrate. When you're doing a task, give yourself plenty of time. Give yourself some slippage so that you can run through the line. Chunk your tasks together if you can as well. And here's the one thing that might be good to have a try today. Here's the thing that I think is a revelation, and I do it now. Instead of making a to-do list at the start of the day, I could talk about to-do lists and how they don't operate as effectively as David Allen's trusted system idea. But instead of a to-do list, write a to-don't list. What are you not going to do today? What things are you going to safely leave somewhere and not even tackle them today? Put them in your diary for tomorrow. Put them in your diary for next week. But right, hang on a minute. I'm not going to do that today. It's safe somewhere else. Or maybe it's a to-don't list, as in today, I am not going to check emails or Teams till whenever. Or what else could it be? Or I'm going to put my phone, I've got so much to do that needs to be got through, that what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my phone out the way on silent in another room. So my to-don't is I'm not going to check my phone. So come up with a to-don't list. What am I not going to do today so that I can be efficient, so that I can not be distracted? So there you go. Single task, chunk tasks together, build in slippage, run through the line, and have a to-don't list. Fabulous. Have great Mondays. And with a fair wind behind us in the sails of our vessel, I'll see you on Wednesday.